What's up, everybody? Rebel here, and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated is such a good show. It is so well written. It has comedy and action and a little bit of spookiness. And when it progresses, the overarching plot, so good. Some of the episodes aren't that good, though. Thankfully, I won't be talking about them today. Instead, I'll be going over the top 10 best episodes. Let's get into it.
That one sucks, but that one's great. High rank stuff, this is Rebel Ranks.
That's me. Yes, you thought it was just one crappy intro, but no, there's two crappy intros. Each equally terrible, but somehow perfect for me, because I'm pretty terrible. Anyway, so today, top 10 best episodes, and somewhere in the middle we are going to be taking a break just to go over a couple other random episodes I felt like talking about. Also, I shouldn't have to say this, but these are just my opinions. You can have different ones, and that's fine. You are allowed to be wrong. So without further ado, also, major spoilers ahead. I should say obviously, if you haven't seen the show yet and you want to watch it without having anything spoiled, go away. If you don't care if you've already seen it, then let's go. Episode 221, The Man in the Mirror, a pretty unique episode, no masked monster of the week. Instead, the gang is asked by Mere Nettles to investigate noises coming from an old house. They split up, and Fred gets pulled into a mirror by an evil Fred. Great scene, by the way. The gang waiting outside for Fred when Fred walks out, but he's clearly not Fred. It then switches to actual Fred, and he leaves the house to find the whole town of Crystal Cove destroyed, basically. Then switches to the gang with fake Fred, and he's acting very strange. He calls Shaggy Norbert. It switches back to the real Fred in the destroyed Crystal Cove, where he's confronted by an old Daphne who tells him he's in the future and that they need the planispheric disc that only Fred knows the location of to fix everything. Fred takes old Daphne to a few locations, saying he keeps forgetting where he hid the disc piece. Fake Fred ends up leading the gang to each of those locations, and Velma figures out that the first two letters of each place they went to spells out fake Fred, who calls Shaggy a hippie.
The old abandoned factory, hippie!
Ha! Fred drives through a wall that was actually fake and part of a movie set and drives to where fake Fred and the gang are. Fake Fred gets the disc piece and Fred and him fight for a little. Fake Fred is revealed to be Fred's dad with plastic surgery and old Daphne being Judy. Professor Pericles shows up after Brad and Judy are defeated and has his robots grab Daphne and threatens her for the disc. A pretty dick move, honestly. All in all, great episode though. Due to the voice being different, it's pretty clear that it's not Fred, and it's pretty clear fake Fred knows where to go due to real Fred. However, it's still not blatantly obvious, and seeing it for the first time will leave you guessing as to what exactly is happening. And even knowing the twist at the end, it doesn't actually take anything away from the episode. It's one that I can watch multiple times and still enjoy. Such a good episode. Number 9, episode 123, A Haunting in Crystal Cove. Fred Sr. has a piece of the planispheric disc and gets attacked by a ghost or something, a specter, I don't know, something like that. Shaggy and Scooby are there to help in case Fred Sr. is attacked. He is, and Shaggy and Scooby are attacked by a pizza? Yeah. The gang has a seance or something. The spirit says he's an old friend of Fred Sr. and wants what he took from him. The house starts attacking everyone and gets Fred Sr. They search for Fred Sr., find sunflower seeds, and that someone hacked Fred's traps. They trap the ghost, and it was Professor Pericles trying to steal Fred Sr.'s planispheric disc piece back, and he does. The gang asks why he had it. He gets clearly defensive. The episode ending with more questions to ask than got answered, and it's great. Not as convoluted of a plot as the previous episode, for example, but they don't need to be fast-paced to be good. And what makes this episode stand out is that it starts as a typical Monster of the Week episode. And a good one at that. Yes, an actually spooky monster, an all-reoccurring cast, and it ended up being a main plot episode with the main antagonist as the masked villain. Nice. Number 8, episode 224, Battle of Gloom. Gang gets back from the jungle with the heart of the Jaguar to destroy Nibiru. Sheriff Stone's freaking out because everyone in Crystal Cove is gone, taken underground, and instantly he gets taken underground as well. Velma then gives a nice summary explaining Nibiru, Planet X, nice info dump. The gang follows Pericles' robots underground where they took everyone to slave labor dig for the gate to Nibiru. Pericles orders Mr. E to have the robots kill everyone by pumping poison into him until he complies. Shaggy and Scooby let the prisoners know they're planning an uprising. Fred Fred Mad Maxes out the mystery machine, a little shot of the mystery machine driving into some sewer tunnels with an unknown car pulling up behind them. The mystery machine comes smashing down through as Sheriff Bronson gets everyone to attack. Scooby goes dual-wielding machine guns. Pretty awesome. The mystery machine gets surrounded and the Kriegstoffabots start firing, and Fred pushes a button that destroys the mystery machine and the surrounding robots. A little bit of a fake out death, but one that's revealed fake only a few seconds later. Like literally a few seconds. Pericles then uses the planispheric disc to open the door to Nibiru. The gang follows and Scooby gives one of the dopest Scooby-Dooby-Doos ever.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
And yeah, this episode doesn't really fit by itself, being the first of 3 parts of the 3-part final arc. But man, full of action, suspense, a nice little fake out death, as short-lived as it is. But it is still part of the final arc, so in the end it is a can't skip episode. No. Number 7, episode 221, The Midnight Zone. Cassidy Williams is talking smack on her radio station and gets attacked by World War II era robot. Velma deduces that they're coming from the water. Daphne has 2 boys and a seal from Sea Lab 2020. I guess Daphne's their babysitter. Oh, and the seal's name is Scooby. Turns out there's an underwater city, so the boys have the whole whale submarine Moby take them underwater. A giant ghost lady's head appears to warn them not to go down there, but of course they do. They always do. They get to the city and see that it was once the city of the Spanish missionaries that originally settled Crystal Cove. The robots attack, taking the gang's helmets and leaving the sub, taking on water. They dock in a crazy lab or something, like 2 different drowning scares. The boys are weird and the situational comedy in this show is just amazing. The gang sees robots getting assembled. There are even baby robots. I'm so lost right now. The ghost lady head is yelling at them the whole time. She really is dead and says Nibiru. Velma recognizes her as one of the members of the past mystery-solving group. Professor Pericles reactivated her lab to produce more robots. He gets a disc piece and proceeds to destroy the lab. The gang tries to escape, but Moby is stuck and Cassidy stays behind to make sure they can escape, sacrificing herself. Gang is safe. Realizing Cassidy is dead, pan out to wide shot. Boom, such a somber episode, but one that really shows the lengths Pericles is willing to go, showing how evil he is and that no one is safe. Well, I assume the gang is safe, but to just kill off a reoccurring character like Cassidy and the gang's reaction just make this such a good episode. Number 6, episode 208, Night on Haunted Mountain. 2 jocks climbing a mountain. Winged bat lady thing attacks. Typical Scooby. Gang gets to a small town with a bunch of Hills Have Eyes looking people. There's this thing with the guy called Ugly Jimmy. The bat lady is called Dark Lilith. She attacks. Ugly Jimmy leads the gang to where Dark Lilith is from. There's a crazy lady who has a Wilson-style volleyball with a bloody handprint. Dark Lilith attacks. Ugly Jimmy falls off a cliff. The gang finds a Spanish galleon stuck on the top of a hill in a desert. Velma finds the ship's manifest. The captain of that ship hid the ship and a disc piece on the top of the mountain. Fred gets through the ship's traps. Dark Lilith takes the disc piece. The ship destroys the small town. Dark Lilith is hot dog water in the ship. Captain's ghost says Nibiru before disappearing laughing. Love the lore established with the conquistadors. The ghost at the end was a great touch. Hot dog water returning was great. A great monster of the week episode that also ties heavily into the main arc. And that puts us halfway through our top 10 list, so might as well take a little break and skim through some of the other episodes just in case there's anything I don't want to forget mentioning. Episode 101 is pretty great. It got me hooked. Pretty funny joke.
But you've got a job as a teacher. Why do you need more money? Oh, yeah, my bad.
Really get ripped off.
If only there was some organization or group whose purpose it was to fight for the benefit and better wages of teachers instead of using that money to line their pockets and the pockets of politicians. Too bad no such organization exists. Episode 107 is actually pretty great. Love the modern versions of their songs from The Witch's Ghost. Plenty of hilarious Sheriff Bronson. Good stuff. Episode 108 has dudes dressing up like pirates at a medieval fair. I've never heard of this, but it seems hilarious. Episode 112 has the gang at a college. There's a typical college Che wannabe. It's gotta be him. It's always the commie. I stand corrected. Episode 120 honestly almost made the top 10 best. So good. A hilarious Scrappy reference, more Skipper Shelton, Velma realizing Angel is Cassidy Williams. It's great. And this guy was the villain. I told you, man. It's always the friggin' commies. Episode 205. The cheese told me to come here.
The cheese told me to come here.
Now that we've taken a little break, if you can call it that, let's wrap up with the top 5 best episodes. Number 5, 117, Escape from Mystery Manor. The intro is a flashback to the Darrow family fighting over something. It's a disc piece, but we don't know what it is at this point. Angel Dynamite gives the gang a diary of Cassidy Williams, saying it's from Mr. E, but there's no stamp on it. We aren't aware that she is Cassidy. So this is one of the episodes that multiple watches make it more interesting. The gang goes under the Darrow College to the buried Darrow mansion. Some voice there mistakes them for the original Mystery Inc. and tries to out-trap them. I guess tries to kill them, basically. They come so close to dying so many times in this episode. They escape the traps and are confronted by the son of the Darrow family, who's been underground for decades. It's amazing the gang hasn't been killed, like honestly. We see a planispheric disc for the first time, or at least a piece of one. The gang catches the little Darrow boy. He explains that the treasure he was guarding is sort of how his family came in possession of it. The house collapses and the gang escapes while the Darrow boy dies. Fred asks if there are any other pieces, and if so, who's looking for them, and it zooms out to Fred's dad. Dang, because Fred's dad is, well, yeah. Great episode, and like Saw, but no one dies. Well, except the Darrow Goblin. The MacGuffin of this series is finally revealed. Fred Sr. is hinted to be more than he seems. Cassidy giving them her old diary without revealing her identity. One of the episodes that is definitely just as good, if not better, the second plus time you'll watch it. Number 4, 225, Through the Curtain. Episode 2 of the final arc, I guess, 3? The second to final last episode. Starts with Nibiru giving some crazy speech. The gang is following Pericles to the first door. It's locked, and Pericles knows the gang has the keys and is following him, so he forces them to reveal themselves by threatening a captive hot dog water. It's so weird saying that. I swear. Fred agrees to open the first door, thinking he can set off a trap in the door. He does, but Pericles has Daphne thrown at the door, forcing Fred to actually open it. Hot Dog Water then grabs Pericles, forcing his robots to stand down, allowing the gang to advance before Pericles. As they escape, gunshots are heard. Such a dope sacrifice. The main reason the episode stands out, the background animation from underground. Now they're on bridges connecting a bunch of floating platforms, like just floating. It's so crazy looking, and the fact that you can't even take it in because they just killed Hot Dog Water, so intense. And then they get to the next door, Earth, and once inside, a rock monster attacks. Intense. The next door is on a vertical wall of water, and the door turns into a boat, and all the water pushes them into an ocean. Yeah, they swim down into the water and come to the last door, leading to a room full of lava with the sarcophagus holding Nibiru inside. Pericles shows up, takes the heart of the jaguar, and opens the sarcophagus. The thing that stands out so much here is the animation of the different, I don't know what those are, chambers, rooms that they go through. It's visually pretty crazy. And the death of Marcy, very sad. And yes, that's right, she does have an actual name. Honestly, such a boss way to go out. Definitely a can't skip episode. Well, I mean, it is part of the season 2 series finale, so obviously. Also, kind of a trend there with the next couple of episodes, season finale, minus number 1, but we will get there in due time. Number 3, episode 126, All Fear the Freak, the season 1 finale, starting with the flashback of the OG Mystery Inc. exploring a cave under Crystal Cove, searching for the planispheric disc. They find one of the 6 pieces. Pericles drops Judy's locket, explaining why Daphne found it where she did. Then once outside, they're greeted by the freak of Crystal Cove, who we've seen watching the gangs in the episodes right before. Nice. The current gang break into the mayor's office to search for clues, and we can see the tension between the gang. Red accidentally breaks a picture of his mom, and it's a page out of a magazine. They find a map of the planispheric disk and get attacked by the freak on their way out. They get arrested by Sheriff Stone, who seems as tense as the gang, sort of. Daphne announces they're engaged. Their parents try to split them all up. The freak attacks Shaggy at his house where he hid the disc piece. Shaggy's dad is I don't know what that was. Red Machine saves Shaggy and Scooby and takes them to meet with the rest of the gang at Angel's radio station. They trap her in a room. A little brutal, but she did lie to them repeatedly. Angel calls Ed to help her. Cut to Ed Machine, who just got to his house where Pericles is waiting for him, and Pericles just straight up kills him. It's so gnar and brutal. I mean, I assume it was off camera, but yeah, so dope that you forget the fact that a parakeet just killed a buff-looking adult male. The gang heads to the Spanish church to trace the OG gang's steps. Velma defies the laws of physics. Professor Pericles confronts them. The freak confronts Pericles with his fists. Fred floods the cave. The freak is escaping but stops to save Fred, gets captured, and is frigging Fred's dad. I know I went over parts of this in the last episode. Fred's dad then explains his story, flashbacks to the OG gang. Fred's dad blackmailed the gang, helped by Pericles. He then turns on Pericles, causing his scar, saying all of this in front of a cop. Good Lord, what are you doing? Stop implicating yourself. Plead the fifth, man. Yeah, then Fred's dad admits that he's not even his dad. It's Brad from the OG Mystery Incorporated, and Judy's his mom. Freaking crazy season finale. Fred calls off the wedding. Kind of forgot about that, honestly. Shaggy gets sent to military school, and Scooby to some farm, but not before being taunted one last time by Pericles. Man, no wonder this episode gets the bronze. So many twists. Fred's face turned away as he unmasks his dad. They almost never intentionally face away like that. And all the lore building done here is so good, with the flashbacks, the suspense, everything. This is such a good episode, and it uses the cliffhanger at the end so well. Number 2, episode 226, Come Undone, the final episode of the series, starting with Nova, or whatever the hell is possessing her, giving a little backstory to the Anunnaki, and each mystery-solving gang resumes to where the previous episode left off. Nibiru attacks Scooby, but then attacks Pericles, consuming him, then Brad and Judy. Yeah, compared to the episode I was just talking about, this show took a sharp turn into a very crazy. Still awesome, just pointing it out. Shaggy says, Scooby-Doo, where are you? Nice.
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
They went a whole 51 episodes without making that joke, and that is amazing to me. Mr. E has his redemption, almost. I made that joke before, but I don't care. That was impeccable timing. So yeah, Crystal Cove is basically lava and random floating rock platforms. Nibiru summons all of these Anunnaki soldiers. The gang's about to get grabbed when whatever it is possessing Nova talks to Scooby, leading him to give an inspirational speech. Hippies. Anyways, they defeat Nibiru, and it creates a wormhole explosion thingy that not only restores Crystal Cove, but reverts the timeline to what it would have been had Nibiru not interfered with any mystery-solving gang beforehand, showing that the original Mystery Inc. never formed. They get a message from a Mr. E, and it's not Ricky, it's Harlan Ellison from Miskatonic University, a real writer and a school from H.P. Lovecraft books. So they paint the mystery machine and head off across country, solving mysteries along the way, blah, blah, blah. There's a laughing and applause track that plays in the background at the very end. I don't know. And then the credits roll, and it's the only time the credits aren't Judy's locket. It's the Mystery Machine floral pattern. And I don't know, what an amazing way to end the series. Very awesome. I do really enjoy the split timeline gimmick here. I also really do think that this kind of could lead into the original Scooby-Doo, and it is such an awesome ending, a definitive series finale. Is this the popular thing to do? Switch sides? And now, what is in my opinion the best episode of the series. And surprisingly, it is a typical Monster of the Week, Monster in a Mask episode, which is crazy considering what we've seen already. Number 1, episode 116, Werewalk Aphrodite. And the intro is a high school sports game where everyone is getting rowdy, but then all fall in love with each other, and boom, this has got to be the scariest looking villain in the whole series. Good Lord, it's giving me the chills. Anyways, everyone at school is in a relationship, but like nerds and cool kids, I don't know. First episode with Hot Dog Water, however, it's just a character reveal. She doesn't have any lines or anything. The monster chick gets Shaggy pretty fast, I must say. There's this crazy sound as Shaggy infects Velma, and then this creepy song starts playing. Man, the sound design in this episode is so good. Fred and Daphne get infected. Everyone's infected. The town is in chaos. Scooby is unaffected and escapes only to be confronted by Professor Pericles, which I believe is the first time we've seen him since he broke out of the prison he was in. Anyways, him and Scooby team up, gathering ingredients for an antidote. They cure the gang. The mayor and the sheriff scream, and it's kind of scary.
Destroy you.
And then Angel pulls up to save the gang. While driving away, there's this amazing interaction between Angel and Pericles, and wow, so freaking good. Such good writing here. Anyways, the gang goes to the library to figure out who the monster might be and proceed to set up a trap. They get the monster and yay, mystery solved, but then they're confronted by Ed Machine, who tells them that Pericles gave the monster the recipe and used Scooby to get the things he needed to track down the planispheric disc, showing us just a glimpse into the evil that is Professor Pericles. So maniacal, and the villain Aphrodite, seriously such a scary looking villain. And yeah, maybe this episode isn't as intense as some of the others, but so many things about this episode are so good, and watching it a second time or more makes that scene with Angel and Pericles just one of the best moments in the show. And yeah, that's gonna wrap this one up. Subscribe and like and stuff, I don't know, comment about the show if you already didn't in my last video. And I guess that's all. Until next time, bye.